Nobody told us that they weren't coming. Was Rebecca virtual?
Oh, I thought she told me she was going to be on the phone. Has she called in? Huh. Okay. All right, then. Go ahead and start.
Okay.
Okay. We'll do a call to order for the City of West Bend Bid Board meeting, February 3rd. We have enough here for a quorum, which is great. We do have a new appointment that I would like to introduce. Fuzz Martin, if you'd like to tell us a little bit about yourself. Welcome.
Thank you. Yes, I'm Fuzz Martin. I'm one of the owners at...
Can I interrupt? I'm sorry.
Oh.
Rebecca emailed a minute ago. She would like a link to join the meeting.
Okay. So we'll give her that minute real quick.
Sorry about that, Callie and Jacob, but...
Well, while we're waiting, I'll address the either the oatmeal cup or the soup cup. Is this a gift from the City of West Bend?
It is. We had ordered more than we needed, and so all the board members are actually getting them. So council got them, planning commission, bid board. So
Did this come out of bid funds?
No, it was, the original order was, there was extras, the anniversary, usually each year there's a small gift to city employees for their service at the city, and my understanding is somehow when they ship them, they ship more than we ordered or something, and they don't, you know how they don't want you to send things back? So
Yeah.
instead of having a box of them, we thought, well, let's try to put them to good use.
Very nice. Thank you very much.
That makes it very special.
Yeah. The heartfelt gift is very much appreciated. Thank you.
I see Jacob's hard at work in the back, so if we just wait a minute or two more.
See, it wasn't late.
No, we were.
That was perfect. A wizard always arrives on time.
Thank you. Okay. Rebecca, are you with us?
Is she logged in? Do I need to send her anything?
I sent them to her.
Okay.
someone's in contact with her, if you just want to tell her to check her team's invites. She's invited. And it's active right now, so.
Hey Peggy, it's Rebecca. I'm on. Can you hear me?
Ah, wonderful. Yes, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Okay,
Thank you. I'm here. Thanks.
all right. We've already gone through roll call and acknowledgement of quorum, and we were just about to introduce Fuzz Martin, who is going to just tell us a little bit about himself as the newest bid board member. All right, Fuzz, go ahead.
All right, thank you, Peggy. Yes, I'm Fuzz Martin. I'm one of the owners at Epic Creative at 300 South 6th Avenue, right next to the library and the tower. We've been there since 2017. I'm the chief marketing officer and one of the partners. And happy to be on the board. Thank you.
Awesome. We're really excited to have you on this board and to have representation from that end of town as well. So thank you again for accepting the position.
Thank you.
Yep, awesome. Okay, so the president's report, I just had something to say. So good morning, all. It has been brought to my attention that there are some bid members that are not happy with the way things are going and how we as this board are choosing to spend bid funds. Of course, I have no exact names and no exact instances to quote, as those people who are upset have chosen to be silent, especially to this group with whom it matters most. I would ask once again that the bid members that have complaints come to the meetings or reach out to any of the board members with direct concerns so that they can be addressed. We are all here as volunteers to be good stewards of the bid funds, and threatening to disband the bid does no one any good whatsoever. There are so many ways that we can be fiscally responsible and community directed. We are currently working on a new survey that will again be sent out and will ask exact pointed questions about the bid funds. So I would ask once you get that to please fill it out honestly, and express your thoughts and concerns. We look forward to making sure that all in the bid are happy and satisfied with this board and its spending of the funds. I would expect the survey to come out in the next couple of months, and I also want to say thank you, especially to all the bid board members who do come to these meetings as volunteers wanting the best for their community. So thank you. All right, having said that, if we could go on to the financial report.
Yes, thanks, Peggy. So on page 6 of the PDF of the packet is the financial report ending on December 31st, 2025. At this point, we don't believe we have any outstanding invoices or anything that's coming. We do still have the books open. They probably will be open for a few more weeks before they close. But that if for some reason we do get something that comes in that we weren't anticipating, we will give you another update for 25 at the next meeting. But otherwise, this represents essentially the closure of the books for 2025. You will see there was just one item. We went under a little bit over budget by $2, but we had a lot of savings in a lot of other areas with regard to just being efficient with some of the different costs and things like that. So I will be glad to answer any specific questions if anyone has them.
If there's no questions or comments, I would ask for a motion and an approval or disapproval.
So moved.
We need a second.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor of approving the financial report, say aye.
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 Opposed? Thank you.
For the 2026 budget, I thought it was just, our budget process, we start off in September, we have the hearing in the fall, and then we approve our budget in November, in November, I believe. But we didn't meet in December, January, so I thought it would be good just to put the 2026 budget up for reference again for both the bid members and those within the bid, just as kind of a refresher. It is posted to the website, for the bid website, so it's accessible at any point to anyone, but I thought it would just be appropriate to put it on the agenda for review, and if there was any questions anyone had or needs a refresher on any line items, we certainly could go over that from that perspective. And then we have a third item that we'll talk about next.
All right, then moving on to the board members' presentation discussion.
Oh, we have one more for the third item under finance.
I
Yeah,
apologize.
So if there's no questions on the 2026, I don't think there's any action that's necessary. It's more for information. So for the third item, our budget last year, there was some expenses we had for replacing holiday decorations. The board requested that come out of marketing, but in our budget process, we did want to keep 10,000 in there for marketing. We did have carryover, so typically what happens is any money unspent goes into the undesignated funds, but we had this discussion in the fall that we would have, wanted to make sure that the marketing budget stayed at 10,000. So we would just need a motion to have unallocated funds from the 2025 budget from the undesignated funds to the 2026 marketing budget. And that motion then would allow accounting to essentially move that money over there. So we'll start off this year with a $10,000 balance.
If that should change and we decide that we want to do something else with it, can that be modified throughout the year?
Yes, we would just need to have motions from that perspective. Yep.
All right, thank you.
Correct.
Any questions, comments?
I'll make a motion to approve the allocation of those unspent funds.
Thank you. We need a second? Second. Thank you, Chrissy. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And I just do also, I think it's probably worth noting, so all the unspent funds except for the facade money that we've already encumbered typically goes into the undesignated, but because we gave those grants away, grants, we authorized the grants don't come due until 26. Those monies do automatically stay within that fund
Okay.
until the grant is complete. So, and in case anybody has a question about that, but we can move on to the next items.
Okay.
Peggy and I were talking, and we were talking about different ways to have a little bit more involvement within the bid. And so, two ideas were thrown out there, and so I'm basically wondering if the bid members and the bid board thinks these may be good ideas. So one item is to have a short presentation, less than 5 minutes, maybe 3 to 5 minutes, of the board members. So essentially, we meet about 7 times a year. There's 9 of you, so we'd be kind of on a rotating basis. But basically, for instance, Jane could use the 3 minutes to talk a little bit about herself, her business, why she's on the bid board, why she sees the bid valuable, that kind of thing. It allows an opportunity for everybody on the board to get to know one another a little bit, but also for those who in the audience or that are actually in the bid district to know a little bit more about who's serving on the board. So it's a suggestion, thought. If you like it, staff would just would like you guys to give us an informal nod or a motion, and we could organize that for future agendas.
I'm in favor of that. I always like talking. Anyone?
Just to clarify, so you're suggesting at a future meeting?
So at future
Or-
meetings, basically, we would have this as a reoccurring presentation.
So one person every meeting, or
Yep,
everybody
one person
once?
every meeting. I'll just randomly reach out to someone. So if I reached out to you and said, can you do February's? And you said, I'm not going to be there, I'll move you to, and I'll just find someone for each month. And
Yeah.
so very informal, in terms of what the topics would be. You could focus more on why you're on the bid, a little bit about your business, or, you're an alderman, a little bit about the neighborhood or something like that. But
We're hoping that if people just feel more comfortable with who is representing their funds, maybe they'll, if they'll watch this maybe, or they'll see who's on it and they'll go, oh, I remember him telling us about himself doing this. I feel comfortable reaching out to him or her. Again, we are here as volunteers, but we do want the people whose money we are spending to reach out to us if they're upset about something or have comments or concerns. That's the whole idea of this.
It's might be a foregone conclusion, but do we submit to at least the bid members our contact information for everybody on the board if they had wanted directly to reach out to us?
Our information already is on the city website.
So everybody I didn't, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And when we do our budget, the budget actually is a budget hearing. So every property owner in the bid actually gets a notice that this is the day of the hearing. You know, this last fall, nobody showed up for the actual budget hearing. It was just the board members. So we did postcards for some things last year. So there is outreach, there's emails. I think everyone who is in the bid who we have an email for receives the minutes and an update of this meeting. So they just have to open up their email link. So there is communication, whether it gets lost in their email or something like that, hard to tell, but so just another opportunity.
I think it's a great idea.
Good.
It gets everyone more comfortable, absolutely.
Okay, great.
It's more personal than us having Snapchat accounts too.
Sure. Should we move on? Do you want to make that formal, or do you want to just keep it informal discussion to staff to move forward?
Go ahead. I don't think we need to
right.
make a motion.
The second item for consideration is a property owner presentation. This was another thought that Peggy and I briefly discussed, was to invite a property owner or business owner to the bid to actually talk about their property or their business. So sometimes when you're trying to get people involved in something, sometimes an actual invite, a personal invite, can actually get more people involved. Sometimes we have a habit of, I guess in society, waiting for people to join us, but sometimes when we actually do that personal outreach, it can actually get more people involved. So the thought was, some people might be a little more shy, they might not want to do it, but I think it's a big enough business improvement district that we could, have 7 times a year, have 7 different people. My thought was that we try to diversify it, so not having all banks one year, we try to, have a financial institution, a shop, a service provider. So we'll try to, keep it a little bit varied there. We could make it a lot more formal. Staff could reach out, or we could also, you guys could actually put businesses forward as bid members. So if you wanted to, say, I think these would be great, I'd love a list to go from, rather than picking randomly. But that was sort of the idea, was to basically invite members of the bid that are not board members actually to the meeting. And they can talk a little bit about their business or their property, why they've invested in downtown, that sort of thing.
I think that's an excellent idea, John.
I like it.
Okay. All right.
Awesome.
So it would be anybody whose property is taxed for the purpose of the bid would have the opportunity to speak. Is this by?
Yep. Well, I mean, there's hundreds of properties, and we only
Yeah.
have about 7 meetings a year. So certainly if there is a person who's like, hey, I'd like to do that, we could certainly put them into a spot. But probably what I would do is I'll follow up with an email in the next day or so and just ask you guys to give me any that you think would be good. Otherwise, we'll probably just print out the list of properties and close my eyes, and I'll point to something and randomly on the piece of paper and see where my finger, some sort of kind of random sample that way, and then reach out. So.
Hey, John,
Yes.
sorry, it's Rebecca. Is there a way that we could possibly maybe intentionally have a mix of new building owners? Because I know some of the buildings have changed hands and are for sale, and then some existing, so we can then bring some of the new people into the fold as they're, joining West Bend downtown area.
Sure. Yep, we could definitely do that.
Thanks.
Yep.
Yeah, I think the Centrum building was just purchased by somebody outside the city. That might be a really nice invite for them to come in and give us a conversation. All right, great.
Sounds great.
All right, moving on to the bid landscaping proposals for 2026.
Yes. So in the memo, I just wanted to kind of go over a little bit about landscaping and all those types of things. So the first part of the memo, it's basically the maintenance contract. I just want to remind everyone, we entered into a 3-year contract last year. The breaks down the cost to the city, the cost of the bid for the total. We'd be in the second year this year. Next year, we'd be in the 3rd year of that program. And then I just also wanted to talk about the planters and see if there was a little bit of, so how do I put this? So when you look at the plantings, I think everyone was very happy with the plantings this last year. When the large planters were installed, they were installed with perennials in all of them. And then the donor group decided they didn't like the perennials, they took the perennials out. So we were left with a lot of pots that have to have annuals put into them. My question to the bid is, would you like us to maybe see if some of those, or come back to you next month with a proposal to put more perennials in? Because the annuals, they take a lot more water, and they're fairly, expensive. So we have a lot of spots where you may have a large planter with a tree, and then we have two other smaller planters. We could typically put perennials in one of them and annuals in the other, and then we could kind of minimize our annual costs from that perspective. And so I'm kind of trying to think forward to the 27 budget in terms of, what maybe 27 looks like. If you guys want to keep with the annuals, that's fine. I just thought I would toss out there early this year to kind of think about there might be some savings long-term, because those perennials are going to survive the winter. They won't have to be replaced. So we might be able to, bring that margin a little bit tighter from that perspective going forward. Because I would anticipate when we go out to bid again, the dollar amount's going to probably be a little bit higher. So we're going to hit a ceiling at some point where the cost might be more than what everyone might want to pay. So I'm just trying to think ahead from that perspective. So I'm not really looking for any action, but I just wanted to take the idea and provide that to all of you to kind of think about in the next 30 days before we meet in March.
It'll be interesting to see what survives this winter. Yeah, it's been pretty darn cold,
It has, yep.
relatively nice the last couple winters. So
And we did actually, last year, we had to replace a number of the trees. So those pots, for instance, the entire tree has to come out, all the soil, it has to all be reassembled, the trees replaced. And that's at the cost of a little bit of, the trees are from forestry, other costs are from the city. So every year we're gonna have some replacement. I think last year, I'll look for Rick in the back of the room, but I'm pretty sure we had pretty good success with the perennials, that the perennials did really well, so. But it was super cold the last 2 weeks, so we'll see how they do. So that's the conversation about planters. The next item I wanted to talk to you a little bit about was, we did get a proposal from Landscapes about a potential spring planting option. And just so you know, we didn't solicit it, it was part of a conversation. So essentially, come about March 1st, the winter greens will be removed. So from March through the end of May, there really won't be any plant material in some of those planters. The thought is that we could go with spring plantings. The success of spring plantings has a lot to do if we have a really cold spring or a nicer spring, in terms of how those plants really succeed. I think don't know if we attached the proposal to the packet, but that came out to roughly around $12,000. We did not budget that for 2026, so it's certainly something we can think about for 27. You could certainly also think about reallocating funds or something like that if that's something you wanted to go forward with. We would probably need to know more or less right around now so that those plants can be in a greenhouse growing. My suggestion is, if you're interested in that, I would actually suggest picking 3 or 4 planters as test planters, and just spending a little bit of funds on it to see actually how it goes. That it would be a lower cost. There would be some cost of keeping those watered, because normally we wouldn't be watering between March and May, so that would be a cost there. That's another option if you're interested. On that same topic, there may be some other things spring related that might not have as much cost. So also during that time frame, we don't have the American flags. We have no holiday illuminated decorations. We also don't have any banners for spring. So a probably more sustainable, cheaper option would be to invest in some spring banners that could basically go where the art banners are. We could probably put them every other pole. You might get a little bit of spring color that way. And then they could come down when the art banners go up. So it could be something like that. And those could be, they're only up from March, April, May-ish, 3 months. The lifespan of those banners should last for a number of years. Typically, they last like a couple years if they're up all the time, but I would think those banners would just up for a few, and they're not out in the intense sun of the summer, so you should get a little bit of wear and tear out of them for a number of years. So I just wanted to toss that out as a different option if the board was so inclined.
I had a question on I know at one point we had talked about getting some of those big planters up on 6th. Is that still a feasible plan?
We could certainly, so the big ones can't really, the big ones you have to take apart. We're talking, the ones with the trees, they're pretty much where they're gonna be. Some of the smaller ones could probably moved up to 6. The question then just becomes where. 6 is pretty tight. 6 was designed with all the bump outs with the plantings. So from a design perspective, really those bump outs are the areas where the vegetation and plantings really should be, from the way the street was sort of designed years ago. Last year we did clean up 6th Street. We had landscape come in and get rid of random volunteer trees and trim up shrubs and things like that. That certainly could be an option. I don't think we're gonna find a lot of spaces, so we might be able to move a couple planters or find, maybe do a small group of 2 here or there, but it certainly won't be a lot of them.
John, is it more cost-effective to move those or just get some new ones?
Oh, it'd be more cost-effective to just probably move them. Each of them they're pretty
you can't
expensive.
Pick them up and move them without
The
damaging them?
small ones you can pick up and move.
Okay.
And we'd have to do them, the ideal time probably is I'm gonna look at Rick, I would assume it's probably gonna be sometime in the spring after we don't have a lot of rain, because they're gonna be lighter or it might be right towards the end of winter or something, because when they're full of water, they're heavy. So you'd probably want it to dry out and not have the reservoir full of water.
I just think that the building owners on 6th would appreciate having something up there,
Yep.
Rather than having multiple locations right on Main Street. I
Yep.
mean, they're lovely, but in some, it almost looks crowded.
There are a couple spots that look a little, yeah.
Okay, I think, if you guys could
I'll
look
work
into
with
that.
Rick. I'll work with Rick and we'll see how many we can
That'd be great.
move and which size, yeah.
Okay, perfect, thank you.
The other item under landscaping I wanted to talk to you a little bit about was fall mums. We had, the last 2 years, the mums were from one particular vendor. Landscapes did provide us a quote for mums. It's about $200 cheaper than what we paid last year. In addition, they're a larger plant size, so it's a bigger pot size, so we probably don't need as many because they're a larger size. My question to you guys is, would you like us to go forward with that, or should we go back to the original vendor and ask them for a similar quote just to, kind of keep things equal from that perspective? So we could reach back out to both vendors, and then you could, in the March meeting, decide which one to go with. No one's gonna, I think we have time before someone starts growing the mums, so
Yeah, I don't think it could hurt to get a second quote. Yeah,
then we'll do that.
yeah.
All right. And then the last item regarding landscaping, we had this conversation last year about that we don't put not a lot of enhancements south of Walnut Street. We also didn't have, at our facade meeting, we talked last year about how we hadn't given any facade money for a while south of Walnut Street. We did have a facade grant given last year south of Walnut. We put some holiday decorations up over by the library this year. From that perspective, I have sent out an email to Public Works and Utilities about the roundabout by the library. There is a manhole there, so it's sort of off-center, but there wasn't any concerns about basically redesigning that. Right now, it's just sort of scrubby grass. So basically go in, make it into a planting bed, do a nice planting display, maybe some grass around the edge, something like that. We would have to, that would be an addendum probably to the landscapes budget to, for maintenance of it, and we'd have to determine what would actually grow there. It could probably be, we kind of have to keep some visibility, but there could probably be some sort of, a little bit of height in the middle and lower plants around the perimeter. But if that was something that the bid was interested in, we could probably start to figure that out. If you'd like, we could come back with a proposal in March. I think we'd still be able to, if we had an approval in March, be able to get an amended contract for maintenance as well as, find the plants in a greenhouse. It's early enough, I think.
Okay.
We're good to see that.
All right. Moving on, if we could have the downtown update by the Downtown West Bend.
So just to go through,
Yeah.
should we, the idea of more perennials in the pots downtown, would you like us to come back with anything in March for your consideration on that?
Well, I think.
Or do
we
you want to stay with
probably-
the annuals?
No, I'm thinking if perennials are less expensive and they still look nice, then that would be the better choice for us, is to spend less money.
John, have any of those annuals been budgetized? Is any of that money set aside, or is this just something in addition to what we're doing right now?
So what my thought was, we have all the money for annuals. My thought was I would sit down with Rick and our Parks Department and figure out with this year's budget, if we buy these annuals, could we start to buy some perennials this year? Next year, could we also buy a couple perennials so we end up in a spot when we go to bid out for the contract again, that we've been able to lower our annual cost a little bit? The perennials, you're always going to have a little bit of perennials that might need to be replaced, but if you plant 5 and 1 dies, perennials do tend to cost a little bit more, but once they establish themselves in about 3 years, they actually are pretty good. So I think kind of trying to think here a little bit longer term from that perspective, so.
Like that.
Okay. And then spring plantings, do you want to hold off this year? Any direction on that? Do you want me to come back to you with are you concerned that downtown might look a little bare during the spring? Would you like me to come back with prices on banners or anything like that? I just need a little direction on if
Well,
you're interested or not interested in.
aren't the banners done by the Downtown Association?
They are, but they're not the art banners are not put up until after. So from March to about May, I think the art banners go up in mid-May. So there really isn't anything there. And so that was the concern.
In your proposal, you talked about colored flags or.
You could do flags, you can do banners,
Yeah,
you
I
can
mean,
do
you
a
could
banner
take
for
those
about.
out and put in the American flags for
You
Memorial Day.
could do a flag because we have the
A lot
flag
easier than
holder.
putting banners up, I'll tell you that.
And the banners, I could get you some options and you could choose for March or whatever you might be interested in, if that's an interest.
Yeah, why not?
Okay. And we'll get some other quotes for the mums from that perspective. And then with regard to the area south on, by the library, do you want us to come back with additional information on that? So we'll come back with a design scheme and a cost, so you can review that in March. Sure. Okay.
Okay,
All
great.
right, good.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right, now the downtown update by the Downtown West Bend Association in the Bend. Morning, Phil.
Good morning, everyone. I'll start off with a few of the events that we just recently had downtown. Our Polar Express Winter Cocktail event ran from about the 1st of December through the ice sculpture event. We are pleased to say that we will have raised through the about dozen bars that participated with that, $1,500 we're going to be donating to the Full Shelf Food Pantry here in West Bend. So this has been an annual event for a number of years, and we love how it gets people out and about in the winter months, and then we can contribute something to the food pantry. Our Winter on Main event, which is the sculpture event, rebranded this year, used to be the winter warm-up, went very well at the mid-January, I think it was the third weekend. We did pare it back a little bit from 3 days to 2 days. Ice sculptures are still up. I just had some contact with the city this week about when they might be coming down, so give us one last note when you're going to take them down. We'll send social media out and let everyone know they got a last chance to see them. They've weathered very well this year, so we're pleased with that. We did do a couple of additional things with the event this year. We had a promotion with our downtown businesses called Find the Icicle Ornament. So it was a program that was devised to try to get people who were downtown looking at the sculptures to go into the shops. If they found the icicle in the shops, they got a chance to win a prize. They got a raffle ticket. So everything we do, we're always trying to generate that traffic to the downtown businesses, have people come in, even when we're doing an outdoor event like this one. The banners were mentioned earlier, so I just want to say that we are now soliciting for both artists and sponsors for the banners for this year. The event kind of culminates with everything being prepared and are having a premiere and auction at MOA on the first Saturday of May. So right now, we're soliciting artists. We've got the banners in-house. Artists can actually pick them up already, and we're looking for sponsors for the banners. Upcoming in just a week and a half, we have our Chocolate Around the Bend February event, which is a ticketed event. People that purchase the tickets get an empty box to put chocolates in, and up to 20 places downtown where they can go and pick up a gourmet chocolate. It's the weekend of Valentine's Day, and we run it on Friday evening and then Saturday during the day. So hopefully people have an opportunity between one or the other of both days to go out. And we're looking forward to that, and hopefully the businesses are too. Along with that, we are going to have a small indoor market at the Eden Avenue event space that's next to Game Over. So people that are out shopping during that Saturday of the event, they will be able to go in there and do some additional shopping, and there's going to be a chance for them to win a basket if they go and they can get a raffle prize ticket. We generally haven't done a lot in March because one of our other great organizations in the community does a beer walk. So Chicks for a Cause does an event in March. It's a beer walk similar to our wine walks. However, our organization has been partnering with Versity, so we are hosting 3 blood drives each year. So 2 of them will be at our office, 1 will be actually the Bloodmobile out at the market. And the first one will be March 3rd at the downtown offices. So anyone who's a blood donor, we want to let you know if you're eligible to give then, to schedule an appointment and come over on March 3rd to our offices to give blood. And then the next things that are coming up a little further out in April, we have our downtown shopping event, our spring one on the 11th. It's going to be a jewelry-based event again, like in previous years. I believe the term is stackable bracelets. Is that right, Christy? Stackable bracelets. So people will purchase a ticket and they will go to the participating shops, again up to 20, and they will get to pick up a new bracelet at each stop. And then we have our spring wine walk later that month on the 25th. That'll be similar to previous years. We haven't picked a specific theme yet, but I'm sure it'll be a fun theme. And we look forward to getting up to 500 people coming to visit downtown West Bend for that event. So does anyone have any questions about our recent events or anything coming up? Be happy to answer them.
Well, the word spring sounds wonderful. When you say indoor market, what does that entail?
We can only accommodate about 8 vendors there. So the Eden Avenue space next to Game Over, we have it kind of portioned off and 8 vendors come in. We try, whenever we have these events, to make sure we have no like vendors. So we only have 8 spaces, so we try to get somebody who might have bakery, somebody who might be a woodworker, somebody who might be selling candles.
Okay,
This one, we always try to get somebody who's selling chocolate as well. So
okay,
I still have 1 spot left and I need to fill it with a chocolate vendor.
okay. Awesome, thank you. Sounds like you're going to be busy.
Oh yeah, we're always busy. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning, Noelle.
Good morning. How's everyone?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. I'm so sorry. I'm having a wardrobe malfunction. I apologize. We're fine, everything's fine. So yes, I'm representing the Bend Theater now, of course, and we just finished up a busy first month of the year. We had a lot of shows on Fridays and Saturdays. A couple of them sold out, and moving forward into February, again, just a mix of movies and comedy and music coming to the Bend, bringing visitors and residents alike to our beautiful downtown. This coming weekend, we have Kevin Bozeman, who is a comedian. This is his 5th time time actually coming. He's always proven to be a fantastic comedian. And from what I understand, he's our Pillar Award winner comedian too. That's been given out to a select handful of entertainers that have graced the stage and have been with the Bend Theater since the very beginning when it opened its doors. And speaking of that, we are just entering now because COVID, we opened that one day and had to close in 2020, but we're entering like our fourth full year of providing wonderful shows, and we truly are booking up every weekend and filling up the weeks as we're looking out into 2026. We have a newer show that just was announced recently, the Judson Brown Band on Thursday, February 12th. This is also going to be serving as a fundraiser for the West Bend Power Hockey, but it is the lead singer was an original member of Bella Kane, which is a popular country band in the area. We do have a sold out show coming up, Petty Things, on February 13th. So sorry if you didn't get tickets, but we're excited to always see the sold out shows. This is the weekend of the chocolate event. So on the 14th, on Valentine's Day, we also have a great band called Gin, Chocolate, and Bottle Rockets. And they do wonderful cover songs of Dolly Parton, Emmylou Harris, and Linda Ronstadt. The following week, on Friday, the 20th, we have Johnny Wad. That name may sound familiar. Back in May of 2024, when the Downtown and the Bend did that joint the block party for the first time, Johnny Wad was the band. So they're that band that opens up at Packer games, really fun energy, lots of great covers. So they're coming on February 20th. We have another comedian, Joe Zimmerman, coming on the 21st. The following week, we have Wayne Baker Brooks on the 27th, which is a Friday, great blues artist. And then to cap off February, on the 28th, we have Armchair Boogie, which is more of a bluegrass band. I'm not sure if you want me to keep going into March. I know we have a meeting in March, but obviously going from the Downtown now to the Bend, there's just a lot more events happening within 1 month. So I can kind of keep it at that, but just know that there are always wonderful and exciting entertainment and experiences that are happening at the Bend. Any questions?
No, you guys also hold a lot of corporate events and things like that as well too, correct, Noel?
We do. We do provide private events, yes, at times for different businesses. So definitely, I know I'm looking at one that's has recently scheduled one. So those I didn't mention. It's just kind of going off of the public events that you do see on our website. We're also going to start doing more movies too. I forgot to mention it's not on our website yet, but on February 19th we have a fun family-friendly movie, the Lego Batman movie. So, but moving into all the months, we're working on making sure that movies are part of the rotation too that are at the Bend. But we absolutely do those private events. So if any of our downtown businesses, any businesses in general, are looking to utilize the space at the Bend, we do have rental agreements that we can work on with everyone. We also work with nonprofits as well, and agreements in that way too for different events that they have going on.
Wonderful. Thank you for the update.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, review of the 2025 tree lighting ceremony, which feels like it was ages ago.
I know, I was gonna say the same. Tree lighting ceremony? Double check.
It's
with Jen.
February. There's still
This was my first opportunity officially to partner with the Bend, Downtown Association, the BID, to put on this wonderful annual event. And this year I thought went awesome. We, thanks to the Bend, had some talent that really, was an anchor to the show. The bullies from A Christmas Story ended up being a hit and provided us with some really strong social content to promo the episode that our own John Fellows made it into and Mayor Ongert made it into as well. So we had a lot of fun, my team and I, being able to shoot that video. In addition to, well, first off, I just want to give kudos to my team members, Jacob and Jonah, wonderful videography and photography that gave us ample coverage leading up to the event, during the event, and then afterwards. Between City of West Bend Social and Visit West Bend Social, we had 8 different posts, again, leading up to or just covering the event. The reel with a Christmas story actors got 41,000 views, 635 interactions, which was great. And then the save the date, which honestly is like shooting fish in a barrel. It was an easy one, but 81,000 views on that video as well. So it is a tradition that the community really embraces. And then this year was pleased to put some of my media outreach experience into work and was able to get Fox 6, a live segment that was done with Mayor Unger and the Bullies before the event to promo it. Thanks to Jonah, Jimmy rigged makes it sound like it was low quality. It was very high quality. It was a live stream. And then we had TMJ4 meteorologists there all evening doing live updates throughout, as well as TMJ4 did a reel that had 2,000 plus reactions. So reactions are like the likes or hearts and stuff like that, which is pretty phenomenal, and 98 shares on that. So the event certainly was well attended, but the social outreach among my team and then mainstream media, and of course our friends at the Daily News had some articles as well. So I thought it was a really great event, and I enjoyed working with Peggy and the different groups to get it put on.
It was awesome. Honestly, for what this community has done in support of the Christmas in the downtown, I would literally put that on any Hallmark movie. I mean, it is spectacular downtown. And when you see all the families coming down there and getting pictures taken in front of that tree, I mean, I think it's something that we can be really super proud of, you know, as something that we've done together. And something that I think the people of this community really look forward to, because it's beautiful down there at Christmas time.
Yeah, I will say too, I want to give kudos to John. There's been issues with the tree in the past. We made a lot of efforts with Blingle to try and shore that up. I know there was maybe a couple glitches still, but that's getting a little more polished. The tree looks awesome. John recruited some internal employees here at City Hall to literally go and count ornaments to make sure that the bid is being fiscally wise and economical with your funds for that, and came up with a better storage system for it. So each year I think there's traction gained with it and makes it run more smoothly, but also it is an opportunity to, in my opinion, do something a little different, a little fun with the talent that maybe we bring in or the program itself.
Do we know why the tree leaned this year? Because it kind of did get the leaning tower of Christmas trees this year. It was leaning way to the right.
It has a couple different reasons. Well, one, the plaza's not level, so it already leans. So when you ever put something that is already on an angle to get it to go straight, you know, I mean, I don't know if you've ever, sometimes you have to, your own Christmas tree at home, if you get a natural tree, sometimes it doesn't always look straight. I also think that, you know, it has a lot to do with the angle of, with the lift and the perception of all that. It's also leaned, the wind comes down, and so I think it you know, all of those are basically, the tree is a series of rings that are all then connected together. So, you know, you get a strong wind or something like that, it can actually shift a little bit.
Okay.
If we were to shim up the one side, I think we'd probably make it a little less stable. I think it really needs to be fully on the concrete from that perspective. So, yep. So
Right.
we'll try to not have it lean as much looking. But if you looked at it at certain spots, it looked straight. If you
I
looked at
know.
other angles,
Yeah.
it looked like it was leaning. Yep.
We like to
So,
keep people on their toes.
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
A little more excitement.
Exactly.
No.
Yes. Well, thank you for all your work in it. All right, then just the bid facade grant committee.
Jane, do you want to do that, or shall I summarize it for you? Or do you want to summarize? I'll take it. So we had 2 applications. So as you know, we decided is that we used to do just one round. We were doing 2 rounds. That first round is basically submission in 25 with the grants to be awarded in early 26. And then we'll have another round coming up here in just a few months for basically kind of a spring round, and we'll get advertisement out for that. But it's already posted to our website. We already had some communication to let people know that there's a second round coming. We did get 2 applications. Both of those were denied by the Facade Committee. One was a request for something that's neither encouraged by our guidelines or discouraged. It was kind of a gray area, and there was concerns about precedent and other things. So I think we'll be discussing what that might look like for next year if that becomes an opportunity. So the committee will look at seeing how that can become potentially how that would be structured. The other one was for a roof with a historic character, but there wasn't any documentation or information about was that really what the building necessarily looked like from that perspective. And also, typically roofs are not are covered standard. It's just kind of if you own a building, there's certain things like a roof and HVAC, things that you would normally need to, kind of as a landlord or a property owner maintain. So from that perspective, so that one was a little different. But the applicants were both communicated to. I am anticipating maybe we'll get a couple more applications here for the next round. I did have a conversation mid-afternoon yesterday with one of the applicants that was awarded funds last year. That applicant did move forward with regard to, they have their architectural plans. Their plans actually did go through a plan review. So they have their state plan approval. They had the building permit in, but it's never been issued. So they were wondering if they could have an extension for that facade work. So I'll probably be sending an email out to the facade committee to see if we can have a short meeting in the next 2 weeks to discuss that particular item. So from that perspective. So I think that's a quick summary.
Okay. All right, any agenda items for next month?
We skipped one up above.
Did I miss?
So I had, under agendas for consideration, I had the Adopta program.
Yeah.
This was another idea that I wanted to
Oh, I thought you
sort of
said.
toss out. I don't think we would necessarily be able, we probably could put the effort to try to put it together for this year. It would probably be easier to be able to launch it for 27, but it's a discussion item of an Adopta program. So there are a number of communities that have downtowns, and what they do is how they fund their hanging basket program is it's an Adopta program. So people provide a donation. A lot of these communities will actually have it as a website that they can go to, and people can contribute funds. And so that might be another way to, A, get more involvement from the community. It may actually also kind of help close the gap on some of the funding from the bid from that perspective. Right now, the bid does pay for the entire hanging basket program throughout the downtown. That includes the plants, the baskets, the cleaning, all those types of things. And the staff report, I gave you a little bit of information about the Adopta program. There's 32 hanging baskets. We spend about $3,200 on plants, about $7 on irrigation, $2,000 on fertilization, et cetera. And a lot of Adopta programs, so it's about just under $400 per basket. A lot of Adopta programs will have people contribute. They might contribute 25 or 100. They might contribute a full amount to a basket or something like that. But that was something I just wanted to, early in the year, put out there as a discussion. If there seems to be some interest, we certainly could dive a little bit deeper into that in the next month or two. And it could certainly be something we could then think about for the 27 planting season from that perspective. And maybe there can be a little bit of discussion. Do you think people would actually contribute? Would a family, maybe there's a family that would do it. Maybe they would adopt a hanging basket for the year, in honor of, somebody's wedding anniversary or 50th birthday, who knows? So just wanted to toss that out there. I gave you a list of links of different programs that's in the thing, everywhere from like New York, Mukwonago, Wisconsin, they're all different ones, but they're pretty simple programs. And if something would go to, essentially, the funds would probably need to go to a tax deductible group. I talked to finance. They said it would be something like Friends of Parks, and then what would happen is the money would from the fund would go to the bid to pay for the things, but people could have a tax deduction if they so were inclined from that perspective.
Okay. Well, I mean, when you look at like the Labyrinth Garden, at Ragnar, there's tons of stones in there and all those people have paid for that. I mean,
Yep.
that's kind of it's a nice thing.
Yep, and probably because they're hanging baskets to put someone's name on it would probably be to see it. It would probably obscure the basket, so we'd probably end up with a web donation list of these are the 2027 donors or something like that. Maybe a social media post, thanking people for their donation, something like that.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
I think
so
it'd be great. It's a good
okay.
idea.
we'll discuss it at a future meeting a little bit more in depth.
And I also did want to say, one of the reasons why, well, a big reason why Fuzz is here as a new bid board member is that Beth had sold her building, and I just wanted to make sure that we acknowledged Beth's contribution to the bid board and thank her for her time that she has spent with us. She was a very welcome member of this board, and we wish her well in her next endeavors, along with welcoming Fuzz. So I just wanted to mention that as well.
Yep.
Do we need to approve the minutes from the November meeting? I don't know how that typically works in the.
Are you saying that we didn't do that?
Yeah,
Okay, so if we go back to the very beginning, after the initial roll call and acknowledgement of quorum, we would go back to, if everyone read through the meeting minutes from the regular meeting of November 4th, if we could have an approval and a second, that would be great.
I'll motion to approve.
Thank you, Fuzz.
Second.
Thank you, Christy. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Fuzz. I think we got diverted by technology or something.
Well, it's a good thing you came this morning. Thank you very much, sir. All right, and then just again, lastly, if anybody had any specific agenda items for next month, if not, feel free to reach out to John or Ashley at the city and let them know, and we can go from there. All right. Other than that, motion for the meeting to be adjourned.
A second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rebecca.